Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host, back in the studio in Kingwood, away from where? Away from the debate that we had at Texas Southern University. I must say that I had fun. I must say I enjoyed every bit of it, but I also must say that it was a long, long day, and I'm extremely tired. This morning I got up at 5:30 this morning to go to the gym after getting home at around 12:30 or so. Actually, I got home at 12:30 and still had to go back upstairs and write a blog for my 5:30 or my 5 o'clock blog in the morning. So I came upstairs and did a quick blog with Nina Turner. I did an interview with Nina Turner, and that's what I had out there. So I think I went to bed probably about almost 2 o'clock, which is normal, but I mean, not after running around like I did at the debate. But you know what? It was well worth it. And you know what? I had fun. And you know what? I met a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people. And one thing I can say is the spirit. The spirit is great. Folks are enjoying we're really starting to move things around. I think people are starting to really enjoy, and you really have to enjoy it to you really have to enjoy what you're doing to keep doing it for a long time, right? And I think people are finally enjoying the debate. They're finally enjoying what we have to do. They're finally enjoying what we have to accomplish. And you know what? That is a good thing, because we have a lot of work to do. Today, what I want to do is I want to interpret, I want to work with everybody, including, I hope some of you call in and tell me what you thought about the debate. 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. For those of you that are listening on Blog Talk Radio who don't have the screen to see the numbers, I would love to hear from all of you about the debate. It was great. I'm going to play a clip from Elizabeth Warren, and I'm going to play a clip from Zerlina Maxwell on the debate. I think, look, there was so much in this debate to really think about, right? A lot of people say, oh, it was just a wash, or it was not worth it, or whatever. Deep inside of that debate, there was a whole lot to see, and that's what we want to do today. So what I'm going to do, the first clip that I want to play is a clip from, let me see, which one should I do first? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's do a clip from Zerlina Maxwell. And the reason I want to do this clip, let me make sure that I have that prepared. It's not prepared yet, so let me go ahead and scroll that down into the right formats. But I want to play this for a very important reason, because something happened with, whether you are for reparations or not, that's another story that we can discuss at some other time, right? But let me tell you what I think is important. What I think is important is how any candidate that is asked a question about that, how you address it. And I didn't have enough time to get the Biden clip, because I was running late this morning and doing a whole lot of other stuff. But I have the reaction from Zerlina Maxwell, and I want you guys to take a look at it. And on the other side, tell me what you think, both in the scroll and whether you're on Facebook Live, YouTube, or you want to call me in at 646-716-5812. But before I do that, let's go ahead and get into what the show is really going to be about today, and then we're going to hit that video immediately. The show today, what I think about the Democratic debate in Houston, Texas. Subtitle: The Democratic debate in Houston, Texas is now in the past. It made it clear that Medicare for All is under attack from media and some Democrats, something that many of us already knew. What they did at that debate is made it amply clear that that is where they're at. So the Democratic debate showed us not only about candidates, but media as well. The Democratic debate will likely not change a polling in the near term. It illustrated, however, that when a media does not ask the appropriate questions, that the country is ill-served. We will discuss that. One other thing that I wanted to say for those Biden detractors, Biden looked quite animated yesterday. He looked like he was finally alive. You know, and I don't want to be, I'm not ageist or anything, because, you know, for a long time, I've been a Bernie supporter, and Bernie, I think, may be older than Biden or somewhere in the same range, or I'm not quite sure, but they're in the same vicinity, and they just have two different kinds of attitude. Bernie is always a curmudgeon on the go, always pushing the same message and strong. Biden is sometimes look a little bit weaseled, but we'll talk about that another time. For those of you who love Biden, forgive me, but that's just how it seems to me. If it doesn't seem to you like that, call me and give me a piece of your mind, 646-716-5812. But anyhow, here's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and play that Zerlina Maxwell tape, and we'll take it then on the other side.
Let me take that to you, particularly on what Senator Biden was saying there about health care. He's actually praised Bernie Sanders for being candid about his health care plan. That Senator Sanders has been candid about the fact that middle-class taxes are going to go up and most of private insurance is going to be eliminated. Will you make that same admission?
So let's be clear about health care, and let's actually start where Vice President did. We all owe a huge debt to President Obama, who fundamentally transformed health care in America and committed this country to health care for every human being. And now the question is, how best can we improve on it? And I believe the best way we can do that is we make sure that everybody gets covered by health care at the lowest possible cost. How do we pay for it? We pay for it. Those at the very top, the richest individuals and the biggest corporations, are going to pay more. And middle-class families are going to pay less. That's how this is going to work.
Direct question. You said middle-class families are going to pay less, but will middle-class taxes go up to pay for the program? I know you believe that the deductibles and the premiums will go down. Will middle-class taxes go up? Will private insurance be eliminated?
Look, what families have to deal with is cost, total cost. That's what they have to deal with. And understand, families are paying for their health care today. Families pay every time an insurance company says, sorry, you can't see that specialist. Every time an insurance company says, sorry, that doctor is out of network. Sorry, we are not covering that prescription. Families are paying every time they don't get a prescription filled because they can't pay for it. They don't have a lump checked out because they can't afford the copay. What we're talking about here is what's going to happen in families' pockets, what's going to happen in their budgets. And the answer is on Medicare for All. Costs are going to go up for wealthier individuals, and costs are going to go up for giant corporations. But for hardworking families across this country, costs are going to go down, and that's how it should work under Medicare for All in our health care system.
Senator
Well, actually, I guess I had it indexed to the wrong thing. I played the other one that I wanted to play. Well, anyhow, so let's talk about that. What is important about that? That what she did there, what Elizabeth Warren did there, was very important, and I wish more Democrats would learn how to do that. If one thing Elizabeth Warren has proven is that she is extraordinarily disciplined. I mean, she's very disciplined, and she does not allow anybody to shake her. And as she did the same thing when Chris Matthews asked her about Medicare for All and increased taxes, and she wiped him out. He finally burnt out. And you know, to burn out Chris Matthews takes a lot. And she wore Chris Matthews down. Chris Matthews had to then go ahead and go to the next subject. I can't tell you how proud I was of her. You had a whole lot of people saying things like, well, she didn't answer the question. She didn't answer the questions like she should. Oh man, thank you, Democrat. A Democrat who is not going to allow the media to push them around. A Democrat who is not going to allow somebody else to set the narrative. A Democrat who finally says, I am setting the narrative. Now, Bernie Sanders was the 100% honest guy. Is that going to increase taxes? Of course it's going to increase taxes and so forth. And then the clip that ABC News and CBS and NBC and MSNBC and everybody else gets is that little clip that says, yes, Medicare for All is going to increase taxes, and they give you absolutely no context, right? In other words, they don't say, okay, a family of 4, they will pay about $4,000 more in taxes, but the $8,000 that they're paying in health insurance disappears. Net of what? $4,000 profit for adapting Medicare for All. That particular family saves $4,000 a year. So again, given that that context is not then made, somehow people start to believe, caller, I'm going to be coming to you in a little bit. Somehow people start to believe that that isn't the case. Elizabeth Warren, excellent. Bernie Sanders, excellent. But Bernie Sanders need to learn how to play a political game. Yesterday I was talking to his director, my friend Nina Turner, and I said, look, I understand everything that Bernie is doing, my friend. I understand it all. But please, please, please tell Bernie, remember this. Elizabeth Warren says the following: I am a capitalist, and I want to modify capitalism to do this, 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 to take care of the American people, to take care of the middle class, to take care of the poor, to take care of all of these things, because we know capitalism has no heart. So what I want to do is give capitalism a heart. And then you ask yourself, what does it mean to give capitalism a heart? You make it into democratic. I'm not going to say the word. I promised I'm going to stop using these kinds of words, because I'm not going to allow people to take clips of Politics Done Right and say, you see those damn you know what? No. Elizabeth Warren is doing the perfect, exact thing she needed to do. Let me take a call, and then I'm going to bring you the Zerlina Maxwell clip that is very important relative to El Señor Biden. 832, oops, let's go ahead. 832, I'm coming to you. Come on in, 832, you're hot. 832, you're on air. I can't hear you. 832, I cannot hear you. Let's see if it's my end or your end. Let's see. No, I can't hear you. You may not be turned up right or anything, but I know that we did a test beforehand, so I know that the call.
Hello?
Go ahead, you're on.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I can't hear you either.
All right, I can hear you now.
Let me call you back.
Okay, great. All right, while the caller calls back, let's go ahead and continue here. What I want to do next for you is the following. I want to, in fact, I got to cue that up, because for some reason I queued up 2 of the same files from Elizabeth Warren. So let me cue the file up from Zerlina Maxwell, because what I want to show you, first of all, is how people, you know, and I tell you, she's looking at it at the right form. Well, it seems that the caller is back, so let me see if the caller can come back in, and then we'll do it again. All right, caller, you are on now. Come on in. Can you hear us?
There's a delay.
Go ahead. Turn off
Hello?
the computer. Turn off the computer and come on in through your phone. You can't listen on the computer and use the phone, sir. Okay. When you get your, again, you have to do everything through the phone if you're calling through Blog Talk Radio, sir. All right, I'm going to play the Zerlina Maxwell video, and then you can try to come in again afterwards. Okay, let's go ahead and play the Zerlina Maxwell video, and I want you guys to listen intently to what she had to say and listen intently to where this is going.
The rest of the pundits. While I agree with the premise that it was a little bit mean-spirited, I think Joe Biden can handle it.
That is not where I want to start, so I'm going to start that over again. Bear with me 1 second. I want to start that over again, because I want you to hear that from the beginning. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we'll hear that from the beginning now. Okay, Zerlina, here you come.
I mean, we've had this same debate. We had it 4 years ago when there were so many Republicans on stage. Do you hurt yourself as a party by going after the front runner or front runners? Not on policy, but in a way that whether it is or not feels personal.
Sure. I lived through Hillary Clinton, so I'm here to say that when you attack the front runner personally, that can damage the party overall and depress turnout when it comes time to need it in the general election. So I think that, every candidate should be very careful when they're trying to critique the other candidates in the race on personal terms. I see this a little bit differently than the rest of the pundits.
Okay.
While I agree with the premise that it was a little bit mean-spirited, I think Joe Biden can handle it. And if he cannot handle it, then he cannot be the nominee of the party.
Well, I don't think necessarily say if
He needs to be able to take some critiques. He needs to be able to take some critiques. And he's been in the race a couple of months, and they're already complaining about the fact that he has faced unprecedented attacks. Hillary Clinton would like a word. I do not think that many of the attacks that have been
Has
laid
there
out
ever been
against Joe Biden are unfair.
somebody who didn't feel that they were getting more attacks than anybody?
Sure, but that doesn't. But again, going back to the facts here,
But
Joe Biden
helped Joe Biden because he seemed to come out the better of that back and forth.
I don't think so.
No.
If you go back and review the text, and it's important to read the text of his answer.
People are not going to do that.
Well, I think that they should, Chris,
Okay.
because we need to be informed voters, and the folks watching, they can go and check the text of his answer specifically on the question of his quote about slavery, because that was a lot more mean-spirited in my view than the exchange between him and Castro, because essentially his answer was completely tone deaf. If you're an African-American family listening to Joe Biden say, well, Black people don't know how to take care of their kids, they don't know what to do, and they need help, and turn on the record player. I mean, if you go back and review that particular moment, I think that was the weak point
That was going
in
to
the
be
debate last night.
That was going to be my next question about what seemed to be a fall off. Some people have suggested in the third hour of the debate, and you get asked very specifically about reparations.
Yeah.
And your answer is that you should play a record player.
Yeah, no, it was completely out of touch, but I think it goes to the heart of essentially what Julian Castro inartfully tried to point out in that exchange, which is Joe Biden the candidate for this particular moment with this particular coalition of voters that we need to turn out in order to win? In order to mirror the Obama coalition, you're going to need Black millennials to turn out. And when we listen, I'm a Black millennial, so when I hear Joe Biden answer a question about slavery, when the question was, you said I shouldn't have to pay and be responsible for what happened 300 years ago, that's wildly offensive.
And
right?
yet-
on its face.
and yet-
If you remember 2007 and 8, the reason why a lot of the African-American support flipped from Hillary Clinton to Barack Obama, in addition to his win in Iowa, was the tone deafness of Bill Clinton's comments in South Carolina. And I'm just saying that I can sort of posit out how this could be a weakness for Joe Biden in the future if he continues to say tone-deaf things that appear to be out of touch with where Black millennials are, because I think that his support is largely African Americans over the age of 50 years old, and that is not enough people to win the general election.
And she's absolutely right. But there are two things that I want to take out of that message that you just heard with Zerlina, because it is very, very, very important. Okay, Rudy, let me see if I can bring you back in, and then I'm going to talk about this video in a second. But it looks like Rudy has been trying to get up. He hung up. All right, let's go ahead and talk about that video. But before I go into the substance of what Zerlina Maxwell had to say, I want you to remember something that reporter said. Okay, she mentioned that Zerlina said, "Remember, you have to go to the text of this." What he said, if you really want to, I mean, you can hear it, but if you look at the transcript and you look at the text, you would see that in effect, El Señor Castro, some of what he was saying was actually correct, and not as they're preaching out, oh, well, it's not quite right, etc., etc., etc. That's what they said. Let's halt for a minute. The reporter said, but people are not going to go ahead and read, which is true. But the reporter should then immediately say, but given that we are a different method of communicating to people so that they will have the truth and be able to make a choice based on truthful information, we are there, the fourth estate, to distill the information to allow Americans, given that they're not going to read it, we'll be telling them, okay, but this is what the text actually says. And then you're doing your part as a fourth estate to ensure that Americans are all informed. But she was just taking it back, well, people are going to read it. So what the hell is your purpose as a reporter? So what the hell are you supposed to be doing? Aren't you supposed to be there feeding Americans with truth? We'll go to the more technical aspects of what Zerlina had to say, but let me see if we can get the caller in. 202, you are on. Come on in, 202. 202, you're on. So are we saying, let me see if I'm pretty sure that we have connectivity here. What's going on? Yeah, that's coming directly from there. 202, you're hot. Come on in if you're on. If there's a delay, 202, come on in. You should be able to hear what we're saying as well. 202, come on in, 202. Okay, I'm leaving you hot, and if I hear your voice, I would assume that you're there. Okay, but here's the other thing with Zerlina Maxwell, right? Zerlina Maxwell comes out and she speaks about the tone deafness of Biden. They ask Biden a question about reparations. Biden goes into talking about education. He goes into talking about record player.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Zerlina Maxwell comes out and she says,
yes, I'm here. Okay, you must be getting. I can hear you, but you are going to come through fine. I don't know why you cannot hear us, sir. So I am not sure what's happening on your end. I'm not sure what's happening. It seems like we're having problem with the call-in system today. Let me go ahead and re-queue that and see if we can get something fixed there. I don't know what's happening. Bear with us, folks that are listening. I try like hell to get into our... I'm going to tell them, just start talking. Rudy, go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk, Rudy. All right. I guess he's not getting the message. So let's continue with the discussion on what Zerlina Maxwell had to say. So let's go ahead and be clear now.
Okay, Egberto, are you there? If you can hear me,
I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So go ahead, make your
You
point.
can hear me?
Yes.
Egberto, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, please go ahead and talk, sir. Go ahead and speak. I'm sorry, people.
Can you hear me?
I just sent him
Can
a
you
message
hear me?
that
If
said
you can
to
hear me,
speak.
say yes.
Yes.
But I can't hear you. And I'm looking at you. Normally I can hear you in my headset. And you tell me to turn off the video on Facebook. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I'm writing to you telling you to go ahead and speak.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at you on Facebook. You can hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right. Okay. Just so you know, here's just real quickly, let me tell you this. You normally tell us to turn off so I can hear myself as well. Okay. It's duplicate. Okay.
Speak. I'm trying to get the caller to come in. I'm trying to get the caller to speak.
All right, so here we go.
Yes.
It has a delay here. Okay, man, this is Rudy Sutherland. I want to talk to you. I heard what you had to say.
Speak. I guess he's not going to continue to talk.
On the DNC debate last night, and I'm speaking, but there's a delay and I can hear you.
Just speak continuously, and then after that, stop, and I'll say something, and then you can come in later on. Oh boy, that's okay, my friends. That happens sometime. When
Okay,
you
so
have
I'm going to talk. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk, and okay. Well, first of all, let me say this. Egberto, there's something wrong here. There's a weird delay. I can't hear you in my headset, but let me say this about the debate last night. First of all, I applaud Julian Castro.
Sorry, folks. If I'm going to tell him what to do one more time, and if he doesn't do it, then we're going to have to hang
Because
up and do another thing.
Biden should not get a pass just because he says Obama 90 times in 45 seconds.
Rudy, just keep talking continuously. Don't stop. And then after, make your point, and then I'll hang up, and then we'll
The second
continue the
thing
conversation.
I want to say is that I didn't hear anything from these folks.
Okay. I ask you to keep talking continuously, Rudy, and you keep breaking in between sentences. We can't have a
About empowerment of Americans, uplifting the economy, doing anything like that. And here's a problem. Egberto, you know what? Listen, I
Okay, folks, that's not going to work because evidently there is in fact a problem with the communication which we can't handle in real time. But what I asked Rudy to do is just keep talking, make his comment. After he's done talking, we could continue, but we can't do that because I don't know. He doesn't. I guess he didn't get the message. But anyhow, so let me explain what I'm trying to tell you guys now. What Zerlina Maxwell is attempting to say, and I think she's done it quite eloquently, is that Biden is tone deaf. They asked the question about reparations, and he goes into a montage about education, playing records, and he's condescending. In the past, he has made comments about minorities as well. Most of them wrong, just the standard stereotypes that one believes in. Now, all of that doesn't have to be an issue, right? For all practical purposes, in as much as he had a terrible crime bill, which many in the Black Caucus also supported, in as much as he has made many racist statements, which pretty much was based on a lot of times on ignorance and just because of how old he is. But I mean, that's a problem. Bernie Sanders is just as old. Bernie Sanders walked with MLK, and Bernie Sanders did a lot of things in the civil rights movement. He showed less propensity to make silly statements than Joe Biden has. He didn't do the things that Joe Biden has. So I mean, when we take a look at it from a point of view as far as the type of person that it is, it's clear Joe Biden has problems, and it also is clear that it is very unlikely for the younger folk that don't tolerate the kind of the kind of implicit racism, the kind of tacit racism that used to be of the past, that kind of went undercurrent, to be supported. So one of the things that I've constantly told Biden supporters right off the bat, Biden lost twice already in primaries for things that had nothing to do, particularly with racism. He lost because he had to drop out of a race once because of plagiarism. The other time, he just couldn't make the cut. I don't understand how we expect this guy. How do we expect this guy? Yes, he is leading the polls, but let's remember what leading the polls mean. 26%, which means 74% of the people want something else. But we can, of course, say the same with Elizabeth Warren. We can also say the same with Bernie Sanders. Those are true. But if we put Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren on the same ticket, it is clear what it is. I'm going to try to get this 612 call and see if it's successful or not. And otherwise, I'm going to call it a true problem. Okay, 612, can you hear us at all?
Hey, brother. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear your audio at all.
Can you hear
on
me?
The show page and on the phone, I think there might be something wrong with your audio.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me at all right now? Okay. So I guess we do have problems for real. So what we'll do is let me just tell you that what I'll do the next time is I'll go ahead and work otherwise. Okay, hold on. Daniel, you want us to talk about, can we please talk about HISD appointing Keith Lopez to fill Charles Cunningham vacant seat? I don't know what you want me to say about that. I mean, I find it horrific that we can't find people in the community other than a past somebody who served our HISD in the past. But tell me what's your thought about it, and maybe I can piggyback off of your thought. But let's get back on subject. Getting back on subject, so as it turns out, Biden doesn't have a chance in hell to win. When the younger folks go to their parents, and say, we can't have this guy, Biden will fall like a rock. Because the truth of the matter is Biden is not a person of the future. I am sorry. The two persons of age that are of the future are in fact Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. The other Castro would, I don't mind Castro. I can't, there are issues that I do have. Let me be clear first of all. I will support any one of the Democratic candidates that come about. I want to make anybody listening right now not get under the opinion or feeling that somehow we are not going to support a Democratic ticket. We want the Democratic ticket as progressive as possible. That is what shows like Politics Done Right are here promoting, that we ensure we get a progressive run-in. Now that said, this is the time that we discriminate how we want that candidate to be. This is the time when we determine that progressive candidate. Now, when Castro confronted Biden, Biden took offense. Biden has said so much about Medicare for all. He has lied about it. He has misrepresented it. He has said, oh, you're going to lose your insurance. Biden sounded exactly like a right-wing nut who spoke about Medicare for all. So why then should Castro temper what he has to say when he's talking to Biden? He should not. So when he says, Biden, you mean you can't remember all the things that you said, whether it was in the current debate, in past debates, or otherwise, I think Castro did the right thing, because that's the same thing Donald Trump is going to do with Biden. And if that so upset Biden and that, oh my God, you're hurting me, or you're somehow being too rough on me, think about what Donald Trump is going to do to him. Think about what the people who work for Donald Trump are going to do for him. Quite a bit harsher than what Castro did. Now, when Buttigieg come in and say, you see, that is why people don't like to watch these debates. Oh, because, we are so... What is he talking about? You come to a debate to figure out what best or who best serves you. That is what a debate is for. Who best serves you. So I am not exactly sure what these people are talking about when they talk about, oh, this is not the right thing, or somehow this is a problem with this is somehow a problem. So what I like to say, or what I want to tell people, is chill out. Let me see. I think I want to see if this setting is going to change something. Okay, caller. Caller, can you hear me? That caller is something is wrong there. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Caller, I'm going to come to you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I guess not. Okay, I guess there's really an issue with the call. I really wanted to get some calls in today. So what I'm going to do is check one last item that could be the problem as we speak here. So bear with me as I check the correct audio interface and see if I can change an audio interface and make a difference. Let's see if that makes a difference to the caller. Okay, let's see. Caller, can you hear me now? Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me? I guess the caller still does not hear me. I want to try one more item to see if the caller can hear, and then I'll continue with the program. But this is something we want to get fixed, if at all possible, on air. Let's see if we can hear this one. Okay, caller, can you hear me? 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 I guess the caller still can't hear. I'll try one more thing with our features here to see if the caller can hear. One more time. All right. All right. Let's see. Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me? I guess not. Okay. Well, we'll continue with the program without calls for today. And I am so sorry. I so apologize. I will try to figure out exactly what went wrong with our call-in, why we were unable to get to our callers. So bear with me as I make some adjustments back to the system to where I think it should be. Okay. All right. So let's see if there's anything else. Let me go to the questions to see if people. Okay. Sally says that is the problem. When you call in, you can't hear you. I was talking with Rudy earlier, though. Okay. And after the flood, I loved the debate. You can obviously see how the ADOS movement has shaped the questioning. Yeah, let me tell you, the ADOS movement, I'm not sure. I think reparations came before the ADOS movement. I think the ADOS movement added a dimension that I don't think is actually discussed, or it's not something being discussed at all by the debates. Reparations, the ADOS supports reparations, but the ADOS has another component, which is we want reparations, but only for the American descendants of slaves. It makes sure to be, and I correctly discriminating against who is it that would get reparations if they were to get reparations. So that is the answer there after the flood. I think as far as that is concerned, the ADOS movement didn't necessarily have an impact on reparation debate. I think the ADOS movement, what it does is it adds a dimension to the reparation debate. Dump vids. I am voting for Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson? Did I miss something? Is it Gary Johnson, the Republican who ran last year? I don't think he's running again, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm behind the curve on Gary Johnson running or something like that. Anyhow, let's see what else I want to go ahead and finish the debate or finish the talk that we were talking about with Castro. Now, Castro. So what Castro did, I don't think by any means what Castro did was wrong. I think that Castro is really getting the short end of the stick. And what I mean by getting the short end of the stick is I think that Castro is being judged by other measures. I think if you think about it, when Kamala Harris hit Biden, it was the best thing since apple pie. What's the issue with Castro doing the same? I would love to know. Okay, Daniel Ledo still wants to get into the a local issue. Let me pause for a second to, you guys come first, our callers or writers. If you want to talk about something, you just put it inside of the text, and we'll have to address it. So Daniel has, oh my God, Egberto, I agree on something, reeks of corruption and good old boy network. Well, of course, the guy who left, I don't remember the guy who's leaving and LaPay's coming in. Who knows what it is that they're into behind the scenes? I don't know. I can't say. But the fact that we can't pull somebody out of the community to come in and serve, I think it's a sad day in local history. For those of you that are national, let me just give a quick synopsis. We have a local education board here, and one of the very long-time members is quitting. And what do? They go ahead and appoint an old-time member as well that served under these guys, to come back in and serve, as opposed to just going out to the community and saying, let's go ahead and pull somebody out of the community in the board, and preferably somebody from that is deep into Humble, that area, as opposed to everybody coming from our side of the river. But, what can I say? All right, so back to Castro again. Castro did the right thing. If Biden cannot handle it, then he cannot handle Trump at all. So what are the other great features about the debate? I thought our guy, Cory Booker, was very, very good in pushing the criminal justice issue, in pushing what's going on in underserved communities. I think he's so good at it. And it's not only that he's so good at it, he lives it. Unfortunately, one of the reasons Cory isn't my first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice is because of his relationship with the pharmaceutical companies. And you know how we feel about pharmaceutical companies. You know we feel that these companies have continue to pilfer the American people, continue to steal from the American people. For people who are not regular listeners of Politics Done Right, I want to inform you of something that is very important. There is absolutely no reason for the prices that we pay for drugs here in America. Absolutely no reason. The reason we pay high prices is simply gouging by these companies. And it's something that has to stop. It is something we need to stop. So one of the things that he upset many of us for doing is when the bill came, I think it was the bill to import drugs from Canada. He voted against the bill and he claimed it was a safety issue. Have you ever heard of a Canadian complaining about the safety of their drugs? Drugs that are manufactured by the same companies, just sold at a much more economical price than it is here? I don't think you've ever heard about that. So that is one of the reasons. Like I said, he's very good at what he speaks about. He's very good at talking about the crime rates and all that good stuff. But unfortunately, that does not apply to anywhere else. What I'm going to do, I just had another thought process here. I am going to try to go ahead and recue, and folks, you're going to hear sort of a dial-in motion as I try to recue. I may try to recue what we have with the callers. So bear with us, as if you hear that little dial-in, you know exactly why. Because what I'm going to do is I just had a thought. Maybe the problem is out there at Blog Talk Radio. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and recue them and see if that is actually the
Start
issue.
your show now. Press 1 to hear important
Let's
instructions.
go ahead and
Since
see.
it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if that reconnection brought the person in. Let's see. Okay, 208, can you hear us now? 208, can you hear us now? 208, can you hear us now? Okay, I guess 208 still cannot hear us. Anyhow, so we'll try to fix that problem a little bit later after the show today. I'm so disappointed that has occurred. Now there's some good news from the debate. Out there, when I went to the debate, I did a whole lot of interviews, and there was one particular interview that was touching to me that I want to bring to you guys, and it's a positive message, and I think I have it here. And what I want to do is I want to bring it in, and I'm going to play that for you now. Oh, I got to bring it in. There we go. Here it goes. Hello, ma'am. What's your name?
My name is Patricia Esteves.
Patricia, I came over to this booth and I saw that you had I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm a USA yen. Please explain.
When we go to a game outside the country, we chant USA. That's who we are, USAans. We're not Black Americans, we're not Indo-Americans. We are all one nation, under God, one country. We're USAans, period. It's a unifying thought.
Now, you said what you have is a thought movement. How do you intend to get this movement into the American psyche?
We're going to remember who we are. We're going to tell them that we are one nation.
Tell who?
tell the country, tell everyone.
How do you promote yourself to do
We promote
that?
ourselves in events like this, multimedia, internet, Twitter, what have you, like everybody else. And so we're bringing a new idea, a new unifying idea for people who really want to be all together one. You know, you've seen the school of fish, you've seen the flock of birds. They all fly together. That's what we want. We want to fly together, not be divided. This divisiveness in the country has to stop. We're just one nation.
I love your message. Thank you so kindly.
You're very welcome.
So as you can see, there was a whole lot of people out there, pacifists, people who wanted to protest, which I think they had the right to. I got another caller. Let's see if that other caller dropped off again. I'm going to have to work on that. Now, before we end, the one person that I do want to listen to is I interviewed also Nina Turner, who is the chair for the Bernie Sanders campaign. And I asked her a few poignant questions, and her answers should not disappoint neither Bernie supporters or anyone else. So what I'm going to do now is let me cue her up, and you tell me what you think about what you think about what she had to say. So here we go with her right now. Here we go.
Nina.
I'm ready. Okay.
Nina, the last time we spoke, we were at a Netroots convention.
Yes.
And you are still trucking, and you are still trucking hard.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
We're very excited to be here in Houston, Texas. So glad that the third debate will be at TSU. It is a beautiful thing to have this debate on a historically black college. We need to have the conversation about all the ills, the United States of America and the world. And certainly I believe that my candidate is the one to be the champion for the African American community and every other community by extension in this country.
Right now, as it turns out, the media understands that Biden is not going to be the nominee.
You think they understand that?
No, they do understand that. They know that, but right now they're pushing Warren to be the acceptable progressive. I want to hear your point of view on that and exactly what's your thoughts on that.
Look, Senator Sanders has been a long-distance champion for justice, as Dr. Cornel West calls him, for a very long time. And what we're going to see on that stage tonight is the juxtaposition of not only his policy positions, but what he has been standing for all of his life, even to this very moment. So it's not really about Senator Sanders versus Vice President Biden, or Senator Sanders versus Senator Warren, or any of the other senators and other fine people up there on that stage. The senators already set the bar very high. See, every item that is debated on that stage, every debate up to this moment has been according to the gospel, according to Senator Bernard Sanders.
We know that.
So it's really them versus him and not the other way around. So the media can pick whoever they want, but the group in this country that gets the final say are the voters of this country.
Now, is he ready? Is he ready tonight for the onslaught that may come?
Yeah, right. Listen, this is a competition of ideas. So yes, Democrats are there and they're primarying each other because they all want to be president of the United States of America. But Senator Bernie Sanders not only has the record, but has the chutzpah. He has what it takes. So yes, he's ready for it.
No, Nina, I want to ask this one in a sensitive manner.
Okay.
He is one of our oldest candidates running.
Yeah.
I know he looks like he's in good shape. His mind seems to be sharp. Yeah, and his mind is sharper than anyone out there.
Absolutely.
How do you make those people whose only thing is that the guy may be rather old?
Ageism is discrimination.
Yes.
So if we don't believe in, those of us who don't believe in sexism, those of us who don't believe in racism, and we think that's a scourge, then we also should believe that ageism is a scourge too. It is about what you can bring to the table at this moment in your life. And even the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said longevity has its place.
Right.
Senator Bernie Sanders brings a type of wisdom and energy and vision and commitment to this race and to the service that he will have as the next president of the United States of America. And in real terms, can you just flash to a sister's tennis shoes? I want you to know that since being on this campaign trail with Senator Bernie Sanders, I had to give up my stilettos to keep up with him. So the senator is vibrant. He has the vitality and the vision to do this thing. But no, in all seriousness, and I'm glad you asked that question with a sensitivity that some people don't have. If you are, now it's one thing to say that you don't believe in his policies, but it's another thing for anybody to be out there saying that he is too old. Because if we all live long enough, we're going to get there too. There's always a generation ahead and a generation behind. And what we cannot stand for, those of us who are against all the isms, is ageism. It is wrong and it is discrimination. Senator Bernie Sanders can handle this thing.
Nina Turner, let me tell you, I'm waiting the next time for you to run.
Oh, thank you, my brother.
I am waiting.
I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so kindly for the interview.
Well, that is the chair of the Bernie Sanders campaign, and she's been at this now for 6 years, folks. Actually, I think it's more than 6 years, because I think it was, let's see, when was I in Netroots? I think it was Netroots 2015. Well, that's 4 years actually. Netroots 2014, I believe it was, that I interviewed her for. Actually, we went to see. In fact, we jumped in an Uber together and went to see Michael Brown's, where they shot Michael Brown's, where they have the memorial to Michael Brown, and where they have his, where he fell on the. It was surreal when we went out there. Yeah, I need to find that. We kind of, Anyhow, she was a former senator of Ohio. When she's committed to a candidate, she's committed to a candidate. So I think Bernie Sanders is lucky to have her. And the young folks, I tell you, she was giving. I have a video of her giving a speech to the Bernie supporters out there. And if you want to see somebody who can really get those folks active, take a look at how Nina works with those kids. Those kids, when she was done with those kids, they were ready to go out there and campaign till God knows when. But that is the kind of support that she has. Anyhow, folks, I'm so sorry today that we are having some issues with the telephones, because I really wanted to answer a whole lot of questions on the telephone. I know so far we had 5 callers come in, and I could only deal, and none of them could quite hear me. So I really don't know what that is. I don't think anything, I can't figure what was changed here, because we just kind of left here and gone. So I got some work to do to work on that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the show down about 3 minutes early, because I'm going to have to use some of that time to debug what's going on, so that we can have a show later on. Well, actually, the next one is on Monday. But I may come back to you with some little quickies throughout the weekend. This is a very important weekend in the process. So if I have anything to say, I'll come out there. If you have anything to tell me, you know how to reach me. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me by email. You can even talk to me through my website if you want. Or you can talk to me through Facebook or Twitter if you want us to discuss something, get something done, or whatever. I want the kind of media that we have to have, that I think we have to have, the activist media that I think we have to have going forward. It's where the media can hear you as well. Right now, the way most of the media works is unidirectional, right? From us to you, and you don't know who is feeding the media on the backside, which, based on some of the questions that the candidates get, we do know who is feeding the media. I am more for a truthful media, that's a listening media, that is democratic. And what I mean by that is, I've joined the fold of being the media, giving information. But at the same time, I want, through whatever means I have and the things that I do, the means that I send my stuff to give every single listener of ours that opportunity to be heard. Whether it is that you don't have to be technologically savvy as we are here doing what we do, and sometimes technology is messed with you, as you can see today. But we want you to have a voice. And we want you to know that however you contact us, whatever you tell us, it's not going into a black hole. If we have enough media folks with their own cells working, everybody would have a home. Everybody would have a place where they can say, I need to get this out. I need to know more about this. I want to have an interaction with what's coming out. I think that is where real democracy begins. Not that you're only here. The reason why Biden has good information is that the status quo says it is okay for Biden, it is Biden's time. As opposed to saying it's a meritocracy and the person with the best ideas must win. We had the same issue with Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary was competent. Hillary was the most competent person running Barnum. I'm not going to judge that at all. But the one thing that was missed there is something that the people wanted. And I want us to start thinking that way. I want us to think of media as something that you're a part of. At Coffee Party USA, we had a project called Be the Media. And what that meant is everybody was the media, because the media report things that happen, and things happen to you, and things happen from you. So therefore, we shouldn't be the one just feeling out what we decide is news. You should also be saying, this is news. Very important. Folks, before I go, a quick thing here, please consider becoming a member. Patreon.com/politicsdoneright. You know we do our work. We know we're doing the work that we have to do, the work that needs to get done for you. Please go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. It's on the screen right now, patreon.com/politicsdoneright, and subscribe. If you want to give a donation, or if you want to give a contribution, if you want to give us a PayPal subscription or whatever, you can always go to politicsdoneright.com and be a supporter. You are part. You make things happen. You will be the one making things happen. This is yours. Let's do it. We can do it together. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I close out this baby. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.